Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com. And if there's one thing that you need to know about me, it's that I have two great passions in my life. And no, it's not being bold or banging your relatives. That is just a condition and a hobby, respectively. But it is the fact that I absolutely adore the MCU and the WWE. Well, for the most part. I mean, the MCU is quite literally the most mind-boggling project ever to be put into practice. The amount of money, the amount of effort, the sheer amount of hours that must have been spent making sure that it actually all makes sense is pretty incredible. And it's showing little sign of stopping. But on the almost other side of the coin, you've got the WWE, which, while being a ludicrous and over-the-top promotion about heroes and villains that wouldn't look out of place in the MCU, isn't actually as well received at this current time, with Vince McMahon coming in and tearing up storylines, forgetting who is who in matches and promotions, and not even watching his own product half the time. And still, somehow, it is one of the biggest businesses going. But yet, the pair have actually crossed paths a few times in the past, which leads me to this lovely tale of off-the-wall thinking. Now, the most recent crossover between the pair has come in the form of Dave Drax the Destroyer Bautista, which has catapulted Big Dave into the big leagues and out of the confines of the WWE. You can see, even though he's been a multiple-time champion and all over video games and pay-per-view, he and all of the other WWE stars, with a few notable exceptions, they're not actually as well received by the general public as you might expect. In fact, his original split from the company came because his employers embargoed outside projects, and the success that he's gone on to experience shows that he's outgrown the sport in so many ways. And even his appearance at this year's WrestleMania has proved how much of a draw that he still has, but something that he's built outside of the company that actually now needs him more than ever. Yet, it's actually just a big continuation of the relationship between the MCU and the WWE that's actually been going on for years, either subtly with wrestlers adorning themselves in colours and styles reminiscent of their favourite superheroes, or, as is the case of this video, in much more blatant and nearly disastrous ways in the form of the Hulkamaniac himself, Hulk Hogan. Oh yeah. So the night that Hulk Hogan let loose Hulkamania was his history-making defeat of the Iron Sheik at MSG on the 23rd of January 1984. But those watching the event would actually notice that he was introduced to the ring under the guise of the incredible Hulk Hogan. And you might be thinking to yourself, now where have I heard that before? Well, the WWF at that time were trying very, very hard to squeak this one by Marvel, but things came to a head when Cadence Industry Corporation, Marvel's parent company, came knocking at the door. Now remember, this was way before the WWE had the clout to try and bully their way through this snafu, and so instead decided to work out a negotiation with Marvel. What they settled on was that Hulk Hogan could only use that name if the adjective incredible was axed completely. Also, a green and purple scheme for the wrestler was completely off limits, which in turn actually gave rise to the yellow and red famous combination that we now have, because it was literally almost the exact opposite of the color wheel to the Incredible Hulk. Yet it didn't stop there. For the length of the 20-year licensing agreement they put in place, the company had to cough up $100 every single time Hulk Hogan featured in action. Now, $100 might not seem like that much, but obviously this was back in the past when money actually meant something. And Hulk Hogan also was wrestling an absolute ton, so it did add up. Plus, it wasn't the only caveat, because 0.9% to 1% of his merchandising sales also wound up in Marvel's pocket. Now, 1% of a lunchbox, a $5 lunchbox, is only going to amount to a nickel, but given the sheer amount of apples and oranges that Hogan's face was about to guard in the backs of the little brothers and sisters around the world, soon added up. So what we have here, with nearly next to no effort from Marvel, was one of the most profitable product deals in ages. According to some enterprising number cruncher over at Pro Wrestling Stories, the Incredible Hulk gimmick license raked in approximately $110,000 for Marvel based on the match condition alone. They further estimate that the iconic Hulkamania shirts alone brought in $500,000. In effect, WWE indirectly contributed to the gradual revival and ultimate explosion of Marvel. It's also one of the many, many reasons that WCW chose to rebrand the red and yellow superstar as Hollywood Hogan. And trust me, WCW wanted to stay out of Marvel's gun line because, I mean, they had that whole Arachnaman thing. Why they thought of literally ripping off Spider-Man for their wrestling matches is beyond me, but they totally tried it. But anyway, back to the WWF, because it's actually not the end of their very strange partnership. As in 1990, the pair decided to get in bed together and release a comic starring both versions of the Hulk. And let's just say it didn't end well for Blondie. In this short called The Main Event, the Incredible Hulk challenges Hogan and absolutely takes the piss out of him, no-selling more than Road Warrior Hawk, and then punting him out of the goddamn building. It is hilarious to say the least, but the WWF didn't care as they were making some money out of it, and it kind of worked out as a bit of an apology from them to Marvel. So there we have it. That was the end of the tale of how the WWE made Marvel mad, but also ended up making them an incredible bulk of cash. In 2005, the deal ended and both companies found themselves almost in different positions. Whereas Marvel was once at the point of bankruptcy, now they were about to embark on a huge, incredible entertainment revolution. And the WWE at this point, well, it was still going strong, but its heydays were far behind them. However, there is one little extra story to tell, and that is, in despite of all the back and forth between these two companies, there was one more trade to be done, and that was in the form of Jim Jarmusch, who basically created the iconic design of The Undertaker and then went on to become a famed artist at Marvel. It's nice, isn't it? Kind of like trading cards. And there we go, that was a little short story about the WWE and Marvel. Let me know down below what you thought about it, because we're trying out a few little short story style editorial pieces, and I'd like to do more of them. So if you've got any other crazy stories to tell, post them down below, and who knows, they might make their way into a video. I will be, of course, giving you credit. So, bit of an incentive there. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome. Never forget that. Go out there and toe punt life straight out the building like the Incredible Hulk did. I believe in you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Does anyone know any songs then?
No.
No.
Really?
Clearly knows Wonderwall? Not all of it.
How about we do a video channel instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, cool. Yeah.
Lists everyone?
Lists,
Cool.
lists,
List,
yeah.
fine.
Woo!